All right. Okay, so we are live, and thank you for coming into our third huddle leading up to the webinar that is going to be on the 19th of June. So as some of you already know, if you've been following our webinar series, this is the first time we're doing something a little bit more different. And this time around, I've got some of my astrology students who are also business owners in very, very specific industries who have very kindly volunteered their time to join me online on a huddle to share. So this is actually the third and the last of our huddles. And some of you may have seen the first huddle, which was with some of the more, I want to call them conventional business owners, but they were all sharing unconventional ways to do business. And the ones that was last week were about two of my students who were dealing with psychology and coaching in that kind of space. And today we have two very different people also, and they're from trades that I think address areas of life that have been very disrupted by COVID lockdowns. And the first is Kevin. He goes by Teacher Khoo though. And Kevin, he's in simple terms, he's a maths teacher. But Kevin is also doing a lot more than just that. And I think in many ways he's been a great mentor and a big support to the students who have been undergoing this very difficult period. And the other person who's here with me is Xin Hong. And Xin Hong is logging in all the way from Malaysia. Yeah. And she leads Happily Love, and she's, well, in simple terms, she's a dating coach. But this is a very new and very unconventional kind of dating coach, because this is not just the kind of person who just shows up and holds your hand and this is how you get a boyfriend. That's not what Xin Hong does at all. Okay, so I'm going to take a chance to say hi to my two guests today. And of course, for those of you who are just logging in, please feel free to share or on the comments at any time in our discussion today. If you feel like you have questions, or perhaps they may have shared something that you have a comment about, please feel free to share in the comments, right? And if you have questions, I'll put them out to my guests. So of course, I want to very quickly get my guests to sort of introduce themselves. Tell us briefly, what do you do and who are the people you work with? And maybe we can start with Kevin.
Oh, hello. Hi, everyone. And I see the comments. Hello, Celine.
Hi.
So, my name is Kevin, and I teach math. I was from school. I was a school teacher, and then I converted to a tuition teacher in about 9 years ago. Yeah, full-time. So me and my wife started our own tuition centers lah. Then the name Teacher Khoo was actually my YouTube channel's name, and it all started about 2 years ago because of May's reminder or warning. So about 2 years, right? 2019, yeah. So about 2 years ago, May actually warned us about this thing called From Earth to Air era, and at that time we had no idea what is it, but still we slowly explored, and I took some steps to get myself more involved online. Yeah, so it was my first attempt. So I started this YouTube channel, and from then on, now more people know me as Teacher Khoo than my real name.
Yeah, no, that's good. That means the marketing is well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Xin Hong is from Malaysia, but your business is not just targeting young singles in Malaysia. Can you briefly share like what do you do and who are the people you work with?
Okay, hello everyone. Hello, I'm Xin Hong, and I usually speak in Mandarin because my target audience is in the Chinese audience lah. So where my clients come from, they are coming from all around the world. Some of them are from China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore. So it's not just Malaysia. It's not just because we have been doing our business online, so we are able to reach out to people from different corner of the world. So I'm also Maysim students. I've completed her courses, and then right now I'm using astrology to help my clients, to help my students to get their dream relationship. So besides the business, I also have a YouTube channel with 25K of subscribers. If you want to check out my work later, Jeremy will share the link in the comments. And then I have more than millions of views on YouTube. So my client, majority of my students, my clients know me from YouTube. So, but what we do differently is we are not just a normal dating coach like may say that, because we are more focused on the growth of the ladies to become a better person, to basically to from a very disempowering thought to become a very confident ladies and to attract the loved one they want.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So in fact, I didn't think of this before we started the huddle, but what I realized here is that all three of us here, we are actually quite active on YouTube. So actually, if any of you, it's fantastic because Teacher Khoo runs his YouTube channel and then Xin Hong has hers and I've got mine. And by the way, I want to howl in, okay? Basically, I was just made YouTube partner, yay! I just hit my 1,000 subscribers. I know, right?
I'm still working hard towards that.
Yeah.
So when I
Milestone.
turned 25K, I'm so glad I didn't say I have 220 subscribers.
No, that's fine because you see, it's like I think it's a journey. So although it was not on our original list of topics, but seriously, if anybody watching this has got questions about even about YouTube, because all three of us have some experience there, please feel free to ask. You know, anything that helps helps the community to go from earth to air. Right, so let's start with something very simple first. I mean, let's talk about just your own experience of the COVID lockdown. And so, I mean, for obvious reasons, for Kevin, I think it affected you a bit more because you actually have live activities. That means kids actually come and you actually teach them live. And I think for Xin Hong, it's my guess is that because your activities are already, in the first place, it was already online. But I think it affected your clients a lot because then they were not really seeing, they're not going to work. So that means, and you're not going to the clubs and you're not going to cafe, which means there's not a lot of chance to bump into, you know, the guy that you like. So let's have this conversation. Like what happened? Like Kevin, maybe you start. What happened when COVID happened, and how did you adapt?
So just now, May, you were saying that I have live classes or I have students coming to my place live. I want to emphasize that it's not just I have students coming live, it's I only have students coming to me live. Which means I had zero. I have zero activity going online before the COVID lockdown. For Singapore, it's called circuit breaker . Then so it was actually quite traumatic for me because if I had not reacted well, then I could have gone from like 30 plus students to zero because government say cannot meet . So it was it's a do or die thing, and we had only like 2 or 3 days to react to it. So we could figure some very lousy ways. To switch our tuition online, and over time we improvise. So we just make do with some not very professional way just to get things into online first before we took about 2 to 3 months to really make it look better, more effective, and more professional, and eventually and also take the time to like figure out how to use Zoom more effectively.
Yeah, because I think that's it's very practical. No, like there are a lot of people who are also still, even up to now, there are some people who are still not so familiar with Zoom. I didn't realize that too because as some of you know, I actually run my webinars on Zoom, and we occasionally still get people emailing us saying that why is your thing on Zoom? I don't know how to use Zoom. Like I still have people. Yes, I still have people asking me that. So, I mean, guys, if you all are watching this, right, it's so important to like really get onto the tools here. Yeah, so for Kevin, it was more like, okay, live activities. But then Xin Hong, did you actually have it easy? Because your business right from the start was online only, right?
You mean for business?
Yeah. When MCO first happened and then you cannot do live events, was your business affected at all, or did it like times 1,000?
To be honest, I prefer the COVID. I prefer to have this COVID because it actually helps our business grow even more because people are more accept the idea of learning dating. Before COVID, I think mostly people are busy with their works. They have distraction. They have a lot of things they want to get it done. But after COVID, they started to have a lot of time to think about what they actually want. And then they realized that actually deep down inside their heart, they actually want a partner. They actually want to find their loved one. So we have a lot of students coming to us after COVID, and our business is like getting better after COVID. So they come, and then they will say that before that I was really busy, because they are already in their 30 and then approaching 40s, and they are saying that before that I thought that I am okay alone. I thought that I can live alone. I don't need to find a man. But after COVID, when I have time, when I have nothing to do, then I started to reflect my life, and I think that I really want to find a partner, a long-term partner.
So actually what you're saying is very interesting, because what I'm hearing is sometimes people's priorities have changed after COVID, because it used to be work first, and then now dating. Yeah, that's very interesting. And can I ask Kevin, like, did this happen? I maybe not with the kids, but
You mean I want to find a girlfriend?
no lah, you no girlfriend for you. Married man with two very beautiful children already, still girlfriend. Walao.
Because you asked the question like, is it the same for me? It's like, no, I'm not finding a girlfriend.
No, what I meant was like for your clients, right? I mean, okay, so of course your clients include the kids that you tutor lah, but I'm referring more to the parents. Has anything really changed with regard to priorities with regard to maths tuition? Has that happened?
Okay, first I'll talk about the economics or the income, the money part first. The first concern just now we shared is like, could we like possibly have zero tuition? All the class will be ended, but thankfully to Zoom and we adapted to it. Then the next concern is there are people losing their jobs or at least taking a pay cut. So if some of them are going to be my students' parents, then commonsensically, like if they lose their job or they have the pay cut, they will be quite likely to stop tuition as well. And there are also people, so I do actually lose a few students because the parents lose a job. Okay, or maybe they just take a no pay leave lah. And also I did also lose a few students because the parents are very reluctant or resistant towards online tuition.
Oh wow, really?
So they say, I don't find it effective even without trying out. So there are some skepticism towards online learning because they find that the teacher is not able to like physically be close to the student, and therefore they think that they might not be effective. So I did lose a few students last year, but and therefore I was actually quite pessimistic. I was thinking, okay lah, if I would just have income drop of 30 to 40%, I'm okay to accept it already. But by the end of last year, actually, I just calculated it was a 35% increase. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was really shocked also.
No, this is really important, because any of you here who are watching us live, if you kind of think that if taking your business online means you're going to lose people or you're going to earn less, here I already have two examples of people who didn't earn less. In fact, they made more. And in fact, I'll add a third person too. Yeah.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, and I think that increase actually came about from, I wouldn't say it's an increase in demand in the whole country. I wouldn't think it that way, not sure. But for me, what's obvious is there's definitely an increase in demand because location is no longer a factor.
Yeah.
Because I stay in Woodlands, our class is in Woodlands, as you can see, my whiteboard, everything is here, my classroom is here. And they have over the years, there have been a lot of students who stay far from Woodlands. I mean, to Malaysians, I'm not sure. Singapore is like, perhaps they will find that Singapore, anywhere is considered where got far one. But to Singaporeans, there are people who find that Pasir Ris or Jurong or to Woodlands is considered far.
Yeah.
So there have been people who wanted to come for tuition, but then they were deterred by the distance. But now that we're gone online, right, suddenly all the inquiries that used to come but never happened, now they all suddenly take place. And there were also, sorry to say, there are also quite a number of students who take this chance to fire their original tutor. So and their reason was because they didn't come earlier because they didn't want to travel. So they settled for someone else.
So and in fact, what Kevin is saying is very, very important, because even for the business owners who are listening to this, it means that if you are good at what you do, that means we are no longer limited by other factors, like what Kevin said with regard to geographical factors.
Distance.
But it also means that the competition has become global now, right? Because the reality is that, you know, you can go to an astrologer or maths teacher or whatever here in Singapore, but you could technically also go to a teacher who is in Africa, for example, because as long as it's online, there is, and this makes, I think, the business climate very, very interesting for everyone in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's my main point that I would like to share today. Actually, is that because I think one of the questions that we discussed previously is how has the education system changed, or in fact, our thing is how has the economic market changed? Is competition has changed, evolved in a way that if you used to have customers coming to you because you are physically close, I mean geographically close to them, now you are losing that advantage already. So it's like imagine you used to like have customers not because you are good and cheap and provide value and professional, but only because you are close to them. It's convenient for them to come to you. Now suddenly, right? Your competitor could come from any other country.
So in fact, I want Xin Hong to share here, because for those of you who don't know Xin Hong so well, she's only in her mid-20s. I think you are 25 years old, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's only 25, and let me tell you, this is not her first year in business. So this means she started out early, but what's also important is because she's from that generation where everything is online. So that means for her to have gone online right from the beginning in her career was perhaps easier for her than for like old fogies like me lah. So but I didn't start online. I started with a school at Bussorah Street. Yeah. So the thing is, for Xin Hong, can you share your experience, like when you first start your business online? That means unlike older people who have office or who have like a proper shop or whatever, was it scary for you to start totally 100% online? And where did your customers come from? Can you share?
Oh, I think it's not scary at all, but it is like the best thing ever because the cost is so low. When I start my business, I have no capital at all. I was just graduated. So I don't have to rent a shop lot. I don't have to buy things. I don't have to really have an office. Everything. So starting a business online is so good for me, so advantage to me, because I don't need any cost at all. I don't need to pay anything at all. So it's not scary at all. And I think if you want to start business, online is the best way to do the test run. Because you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I hope the people who are watching this, you all agree with us. Like, if you all agree with us, give us some comments. Yeah.
I mean, disagree also can lah. Just comment.
And when Kevin was sharing that geographical location is not a matter after COVID, and I agree, because last time I cannot attend Maysim class because she's in Singapore, but after COVID I can attend her class online. Last year I attend her class online. If not COVID,
that means if you want to learn astrology, right, and you cannot, or you find it inconvenient for you to travel to Singapore, right, you will have to settle for someone else who is very nearby to you. Not because the person is good, okay? It's just because the person is near to you. That's all.
Yes, agree.
Competition just becomes real.
So Xin Hong, like where? Okay, so I'm asking for the third time because she's very humble. Can you share, like, where do your clients come from? It's not just KL, right?
Yeah, it's not just KL. They come from China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Singapore, Malaysia, or even US. Yeah, I have clients in US, and they also get their partners there. Yeah, and in the past 1 year, just within 1 year, we have already got 2 clients engaged.
Oh wow! Okay, so in the past 1 year, which means that they were dating literally during the COVID.
COVID, yes.
Wow! And this is what, online dating, or they meet face to face?
They meet face to face, but not like really frequently. Yeah, so they have been together also not very long, but because of our coaching is our coaching at first, we have already know that we want to get a long-term relationship, committed relationship. So at first, they have already done all the foundation they need. So when they get together, it's really fast. They get to engage stage. Yeah,
I completely agree. So it's like,
So I mean, you are conducting your business online. I know that. But for your clients, right, when they get the relationship, is it also through internet, or do they actually must their partners be necessarily be the same city where they can be physically meeting each other? Or are they actually couples who are like physically separated, like two different countries?
So just now
Wow.
we were talking with one client who just finished a 6 months coaching with us. So she is currently in China and her boyfriend is in US. They
Okay.
were
wow.
they were co-worker together. They were colleague before they move apart, because the guy went to US to continue his work, and the girl is in China and she is also moving there soon. She's also moving to US
Wow.
in August. Yeah. So even before they meet, they already get together online. Through online.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Kevin, you were thinking about like whether people were having like online relationship, you mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, having a short-term online relationship is okay, but the thing is, I just cannot imagine how can an online relationship, extend beyond a certain time frame, maybe a few years. How do you sustain that? So that's something I can't comprehend.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I have a 5 years long-term relationship with my husband, my partner. So we know how it works. We know how it works for a long-term relationship. And of course, it's not like the online dating. I never see you before. I play game and then I want to become your boyfriend, girlfriend. Not that kind of thing, but
Sorry.
yeah, not the kind of dating. We are seeing things like we will meet online, we will talk with each other, we will have call, we will have video calls, and then we will talk with each other about what we want, sharing about our past, what we want in the future, our core values, sharing about all these things, and then through building the trust, and then move on to another stage of life.
So here's another. Yeah, because that brings us to an even more another level of discussion, right? Where if you think about all three of us, our traits require us to build relationships with our customers online. Now, it's quite possible that even now, because now Kevin has already taken his activities, a lot of classes are online already. So which means that it's even possible that some of your students at some point, even if it hasn't happened yet, that they may not have met you in person before. That means so far it's totally online only. So which means for a teacher and student, and in fact for Xin Hong, although you are not like teacher, but you are coach, so in order to build a relationship with somebody online that you never met in person before, and let's have a chat about that. Like, first, let's talk about the mindset first. And just now, Kevin originally said that there were quite a few people who are very skeptical. They don't believe there is a possibility to have that kind of intimacy. Even between teacher and student, there has to be that closeness. So it's like, what have you experienced, Kevin? Like, was it difficult to do this at the beginning? And what are some of the tips that you can share for those of us who are learning how to do this?
I mean, those few that I shared right from the start, the parents, actually, some are parents, some are students, they just simply say that, they are not comfortable with online lesson, or they don't think that it will work. And I also didn't push further, because I mean, I let them decide . Okay, so these students or these parents, I didn't change them. That's it. Yeah, because I had to focus on those who trust me with or without pandemic, right? So I focus on those. But I mean, among those who stayed on, actually there are also some of them who expressed some concern. Yeah, and of course some of them were like very short-term concerns, such as printing of materials, etc. But eventually it's more like how do we have a better communication? Because now over screen there are some ways of communication that we were not as able to as compared to before, like physically looking at each other's papers, because we do have a lot of workings on papers that we need to see. Like be it, I mean, it's quite easy for them to look at me writing things on a board, but for me to look at every single student is actually much more inconvenient. Yeah, so we had to adapt ways at taking photos and sending through WhatsApp. But over just in a matter of 1 or 2 months, actually, I would say most of us, if not all of us, we actually adapt to it and we got used to it. It's actually quite convenient. Yeah.
Yep.
And then
have you found
like,
that is there any change in the quality of your relationships with your students?
Quality, I don't know. It feels no. In fact, in terms of quality wise, I feel it's kind of the same.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't really like feel that, oh, we are more intimate now or less. It felt the same as before. Like whatever that we have been doing with each other, we still do. Like, be it serious work or jokes. Sometimes I do share some stories in class. Not always math related. Yeah. I mean, we try to inculcate some life stories.
Yeah.
And it's still going on Zoom. Yeah. Except that we are not very sure if the parents are somewhere lurking behind the screen listening. That's all. Because I didn't feel as safe as before for the start. Because initially I was like, I'm sure that in this room your parents are not here, so I can say anything. Sometimes, my students, most of them are turning 18. They're like 16, 17, 18. And sometimes they do have questions, or they are interested in some topics. They are not math, but rather say things that maybe their parents are not so supportive of. Maybe could be
boyfriend girlfriend problem, is it?
yeah, could be, or even sex.
Hey, Xin Hong, I tell you, actually he pretended to be maths teacher. Actually, he's doing similar shit as you.
The teacher lah, but we
no, just kidding.
we talk about it. Just that now, right? When people talk about things that are a little bit more adult, right? I'll say, guys, make sure everyone, okay, like anybody like having a parents or any family members around, clear. Then I'll say, don't worry, teacher. My father said, hey, but Xin Hong, your father behind you, right? I said, no, don't worry, earpiece, he cannot hear. I was like, okay, good. Yeah, so we always like ensure like privacy within the class, like make sure that other people are not listening. If we are want to share about anything confidential, yeah, that's just one extra thing to check.
Yeah, it is yeah. Oh, but you felt that relationship is more or less same.
It's still intimate, including those students whom I've never met before, like as in face to face. Yeah.
No, that's interesting because I think in the last huddle, I also mentioned that even for myself as a teacher, when I transitioned from a live class to online class, one of the things that I really enjoy is that we actually look at each other's faces. Because when we sit in the classroom, we don't. Right? When the student is talking, everybody is looking at the teacher, but they're not looking at their friend. Yeah. So I thought it was better because we feel like we're very face to face. It still have that feeling.
And the best thing about looking at each other's face is you don't have to wear long pants anymore.
Yeah, well, don't worry, May Sim always 穿美美 one, so.
I also 穿美美.
Yeah, you see all the ladies still got put effort one, okay. Yeah, but it's also for Xin Hong, it's like perhaps for you in terms of your activity, it wasn't very much different because anyway you were online from the start. But I think for your clients, I mean, did you have to deal a lot with their mindset? When on two counts, number one, to have a coach that is online, because that's a bit unusual for a lot of people. Usually, if they want a dating coach, they want to meet you face to face, they want to hold your hand. But I think if it's online, did you have difficulties getting people to accept an online coach? And the second is with the lockdown, when your all these ladies are unable to meet men directly face to face. Like, was there a need for them to change their mindset?
Okay.
What was
for the first question regarding my clients with me, I find that they are okay to have an online coach because at the first place they have already meet me on YouTube. So they have already know me from YouTube and they already know that I'm from Malaysia, they are from another country, but they are still okay. Yeah, they are still okay with that. And the second question is about how do they deal with not going out to meet someone. Like, I can actually address Steve's question. Can a person who never meet but just online relationship works? Yeah, that question. Actually, I think after COVID, we say that we cannot go out and meet each other, but that is not the issue for a relationship, because in previous time the principle still works the same, but we have changed the medium. We are just changing the medium of how we connect with each other. So the principle is still the same. People want a partner because they want a companion, because they want to have someone with them together, to grow together, and have someone in their life, basically. So the principle is still the same. And when COVID, we cannot go out and meet each other, but still people want to find the connection. And so we changed the medium to online. So because we cannot meet offline, we just do video call, we do other kind of connection. Maybe we play games together, we watch movie online together. Yeah, I also have clients who are in different country, one in Singapore, one in US. They become best friends. They never meet each other, but they become best friends, and then they will meet during weekend to watch movie together. The connection is still the same, right? Yeah, people still want the connection, but we just change the medium.
Actually, same as you. I also have this couple. I also have these few friends and this group of friends, and one of them, one guy from Taiwan and one girl is in New York, and they also just got together like last month.
Oh wow! Have they met?
Never met each other
in person before?
No, they haven't met each other.
Oh
and the girl is right now. The girl is here right now, commenting in our.
Oh wow! Well, congrats on your new relationship. yeah. It's
So back to this question, I think that online relationship works if both of them have connection and they trust each other. Yeah. And then after COVID, they can meet each other again. Yeah. Everything can be the dating, the relationship can go back to normal. You want to stay together, or you want to keep it long distance. It's not a problem anymore. Yeah.
And that there was an important so in terms of changing mindset in another way, because I think, well, a long time ago I used to be single also lah. So it's like when you go out and you say there are parties to go to, or you're attending events, or you're going to the office, there's always a chance to bump into someone. But the thing is, when we are all working from home, one of the things that disappeared was that unless you go out and tapao some food, right, there's just not a lot of opportunity to meet strangers. So it's like, what has changed then? I mean, in terms of, do people have to change the ways that they used to meet partners?
Okay, so it's a very good question. So last time when we can go out and we can actually meet a lot of people, but actually we meet a lot of people, but actually we don't know if they are the person that we want to find. Maybe they are just normal people. They have already have their wife, they already have family. They don't want to find a partner. But when it's everything online, everyone who wants to find a partner go to somewhere, go to a platform, and that platform is a dating app. So maybe last time we used to bump into 30, 50 people a day, but using the dating app, we bump into 10 quality people a day. Quality people. Yeah, the people who want to find a partner, not just normal stranger. And it become easier for people to approach another person,
That's
right?
interesting.
Last time when we were outside, when we were on the street, we very paiseh, we very shy to say hi to someone. But right now, when we are using phone, we are not seeing each other's face. We don't know how he looks like. He also don't know. I was just lying on my bed. I can say hi to him, and then I can start a conversation with him. I can start to connect with him. So actually, everything becomes easier for them. Yeah.
So this is very interesting, because what Xin Hong is talking about is a lower barrier to entry when it comes down to connecting with each other, because anyway you are safe at home, so there's no risk whatsoever to just say hi or to get to know somebody. I think that's fascinating. Yeah, I think with the internet also, there's one other thing that Xin Hong mentioned, which perhaps even Kevin might have something to say about it. And you remind me of something I just said to a business owner this afternoon, because somebody complained to me earlier today that it's very hard to do business on the internet because they don't get to meet their customers. And in fact, what I said was, I think similar to what Xin Hong was saying. You see, when you are on the dating app, you know that every single person there has already put their hand up and say, I'm looking for a partner. So in a sense, it's like we make our intention very clear. So that's, I don't know if anyone is taking notes while watching us, but I think you should write this down, that internet require us to make intention clear. And so that means, you see, like, for example, e-commerce, right? It's very hard for somebody to sell a product to you just like that. But when you go to the search bar, then you are typing there. Maybe you are buying a laptop or whatever. So you search for certain type of laptop. Then when they lay along the laptop to you, you are not upset because actually you are looking for a laptop. In fact, the more, is it true? In fact, the more option you have, the happier you are. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you search for, like, for example, today we just installed a new fan, which means that a few weeks ago, my wife, actually not myself, my wife actually had to search online. She had to key in Google search, buy a new fan, etc. So when everybody, everything that she searched, right, will be people who are trying to sell her the new fan. But the thing yeah, she's not being harassed because she has a need for it.
Yeah.
So it just makes it like very easy for people to sell you because customers also make their intention so clear.
Yes.
And you have to
Yeah.
pay. And also things like review. You can just go online and look at people's review. I mean, I know that some people have fake reviews, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's like, but in real life, you look at a merchant, you look at a company or shop, you may not be able to so conveniently see all the other past customers' reviews because they're all offline. The word of mouth, positive or negative, the word of mouth may not be so available to us. But now online is so much easier.
Yes, I think that goes for services lah. But although I'm not very sure with dating whether or not we can really leave review or not. Oh, this person very very fun but El Cheapo.
Wow.
No, okay, but I mean seriously, that's just jokes. But
But reviews for business lah.
Yeah, for businesses lah, for sure. It's easy to find a
Yeah.
review. Yeah, so I'm actually looking at the comments and I can see Aaron is saying that's interesting, is lesser time wasted on guessing.
Yeah.
So this it's so important. I think even for those of us here who are business owners, that's why I think all the more we should make our whatever it is that you are offering or what you are looking for, partners or whatever, be very clear what you're looking for, so that when the person's searching, right, we'll find the right search terms, ma. But I think the clearer we are, the easier we make for other people to find us. Yeah.
Yeah. So Brandon actually mentioned that the dating app make it easier for 爱情骗子, 渣男, right? 爱情骗子. But let me tell you, just now I was mentioned, we have 2 clients who just got engaged in the past 1 year. One of them actually meet each other online through dating app. So they were friends before, and then they connect again through dating app. They find out that each other is actually looking for another partner through dating app, and then they started to meet again, and then get to know each other, and then go out for dating for a few dates, and they find that each other is the good match that I want. So at the end, they got together and they are engaged now. So so many people have the mindset that a lot of dating apps user are 爱情骗子, like 渣男. But actually in real life, in everywhere there is 爱情骗子 lah, not just dating apps lah. So everywhere there is a good intent, with people with good intention and people with bad intention. It's not just dating apps. Yeah.
Actually, I would like to share this thing about scam. Parallel to scam, I'll say people who produce or offer poor quality, inferior goods. I wouldn't say they are scam, but they are also not very, not the kind of merchants that you want to go for, whichever industry it is. The thing about going online is that reviews stay and reputations stay, which means that if this is if cast internet aside that this particular shop, whichever industry, this particular shop could have been producing very good quality or poor quality services all these years. But the thing is, if you are a first timer, right, you wouldn't know. And you probably can't just go around and ask people because, first of all, they're strangers to you. And you also, most people don't go around and ask, hey, how about that shop? But when it's online, right, a person, be it a YouTuber, be it a tutor, be it an astrologer, I mean, actually, whichever industry you are, as long as you have a name there, a brand name, stick there long enough, you will get some reputation. Positive or negative, you will get reputation. And I think that long-lasting reputation will help the first-time customers, especially, to make better decisions.
Yeah.
So if you have been always well known for being credible or not, people know, ma.
Yep. And I think sometimes also it's perhaps from a business perspective, I think there are so many more ways to share. And I think in the past, we used to be so limited as a business, like going by Kevin's example of shops. The literal truth is, and again, going back to the geographical thing, people literally need to walk past in order to encounter you, to get any kind of exposure to what it is that you do. And I think now, perhaps for business owners, in order to get the exposure, there's a bit of effort required, but the traction is very far. One video, like what Kevin said, the review remain online, but every video and every article, any content that you post, frankly, it remains online. And what's better is it can be shared. So if it's quality stuff, it's easily shared, and therefore just one effort can be shared out to thousands of people very easily. And is that what you experienced, Xin Hong? I can see her nodding away. Is that what you
True.
experienced?
True,
Yeah.
true. So recently in Malaysia, there's a lot of dramas between the Wang Hong. I'm not sure whether you guys have got the news. Yeah, so basically there's a so-called Wang Hong, a very famous, popular girl in Malaysia. She is actually she has a followers around close to 800K on YouTube. So she was quite popular, very popular. But recently she did something stupid lah. She go and sell bags, luxury bags, on her Instagram. So she sells to many buyers, and she collects the money, and then she YBB. Yeah, it's YBB. So we are discussing, scam. Yeah. So Brandon know the case. So she scam people, she collect all the money, and then but at the end she never sent out the bags to all the buyers. And then afterwards her friends actually came to in front of the camera to tell everyone what happens actually behind. And then it is actually because she used all the money to gamble. She has been gamble and then borrow money from the loan shark, and then she just take all the buyers' money and then to return loan shark. So without internet, this thing will not be exposed. People will get scammed, people will get cheated, and then nobody will help them to speak out. Because at first there was just one person who speak out, and then there's a lot more people started to say that I encountered the same thing and I encountered the same thing and I also got the receipt, I also got all the screenshot, and then they realized that actually we are a group of victims, and someone actually among the victims, they've got scammed the highest amount is 60-80K.
It's a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
To spend on branded bags, sorry.
Not branded bag, because she sell not only luxury bag, she also sell YouTube channel. She sell her YouTube channel to the person, and actually got 3 to 4 buyers who paid so much money to get the same channel, and nobody got it. At the end, only one person get it. Yeah.
So this is very important, because what Xin Hong, I think the point of what Xin Hong is saying here is that the internet keeps people honest.
Yes.
Right? Because it's
keep
like
people transparent.
Yeah. You're right. Keeping people transparent.
Expose dishonesty also lah.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Very easily exposed, really. And this is fascinating. I think this is damn good. Yeah. So in fact, let's talk a little bit about like okay. So what are the new trends? Okay, what are the new topics that keeps coming up now? Which I have not spoken about this to any of the other guests so far. But I think so far people talk about pre-COVID and now COVID. But I think now we are facing an even more interesting problem, which is that it's very likely. Because, let's put it this way, a lot of countries, I know Malaysia maybe not yet, but there are quite a lot of countries where the vaccination process is really quite well done. And in fact, Singapore is one of them. That means it's going well. In Europe, I think there are quite a few countries. I think even Middle East also, there are quite a few that have done quite well. So that means it's safe to say that up to a certain point, that perhaps what they call herd immunity will come in, then it will be safe enough for people to go back to what they think is pre-COVID. So what I want to get is your opinions on what actually will remain. So that means it's like we have disrupted our lives to come and do what I call COVID type of business. So even for people like Kevin, if you have taken your classes online already, let's just say if it's okay, now it's totally fine, there's no health risk, what are the things that you feel will change back? And what are the things that you feel actually the truth is probably permanent already? Yeah. So what do you see?
Myself, actually, this is not a hypothetical question, because last year we had circuit breaker from April to June, but July we could meet up again, right? So indeed, I did have some students who resumed face-to-face tuition last year after circuit breaker, late June. But there were also about half of my students, I would say about 10 plus of them, who who requested, say, Cher, can we continue on Zoom? For various reasons. Some is because their parents, usually the parents are more concerned, still very concerned about COVID. They are not sure whether is it really safe to travel on MRT, come to my place. That's number one. And another reason could be students finding Zoom more effective already. They have gotten used to it. Okay. And also, of course, some people they just like, I don't want to travel, very lazy. Zoom is so convenient and so comfortable. Yeah. Then I said, okay, if you want comfort, right, you have to use your results to prove it. Because if you're comfortable and you fail, right, then cannot. Yeah. But so in the end, that actually gives them some motivation. I said, if you don't score A, you have to come back lesson. They work so hard. They work so hard. I'm 1 mark away from A. I got 69 marks. Can I continue on Zoom? I was like, can I?
Whatever works, right?
So cute.
They got so motivated. They went from fail to high B. I was like, okay, good improvement. So there are actually people who still prefer Zoom, even if they can meet face to face. So I believe that if that happened last year, then for the next few, in fact, for next week, because next week physical tuition is going to resume, allowed to resume, but it doesn't mean that everyone will prefer that. Currently, I have students who are like two Singaporeans considered far from Woodlands, Pasir Ris, Toa Payoh, and some southern area, and they find that they don't like to travel over just because the distance doesn't justify the time. Yeah, they say they travel 2 hours for 1.5 hour tuition.
Can I be curious, among all your students, I'm not really sure if this is what Joe is asking here, but are your students like 100% is either classroom or Zoom, or is there such a thing as hybrid student? Got such thing, no?
Yes, that's definitely. We do have this case like certain topics we prefer to do face to face if we have this option, because these certain topics require some live demonstration of materials, objects, and it's usually like more three-dimensional. And because over Zoom, that's one limitation, that whatever I try to show you some three-dimensional solid, it will look like a flat thing to you on the screen. So this kind of topics tend to be more effective over face-to-face rather than Zoom. And of course, on the other hand, there are also cases where people are having face-to-face lessons regularly, and then suddenly one girl in the class just say that, I got flu today. I'm down with a fever. And then in the past, what happened is they just come even if they're sick, right? In the past, or in the past is I'm sick, and then I said one person is sick and they just absent from the class lah. So it's just these two cases in the past. Either they don't come or they come and risk spreading to everyone. But now, right, all we have to do is this week can we switch to Zoom because I'm having a flu. And it's also convenient. We're like, okay, usually we meet face to face, but because today someone's sick, so we just switch. And it's so convenient.
But this is great. I mean, it sounds like basically there's just adaptability to the situation. Yeah. And I think it's great to have both. So in fact, for Xin Hong, I think it's maybe less for your actual operations because yours is 100% online no matter. But I suppose it's more like I don't know. You can say more, but I think is it more for the singles that you are coaching? If worldwide, if people are allowed to go back to work, they're allowed to go back to gym and do their whatever, what do you think will change and what will remain, even the things that changed during COVID?
For me, I think people would still prefer to meet each other through face-to-face for relationship building, because there's some things that you can't do online. There's something missing if you only do online. So there will be online meeting. There will be online at first, the first stage. You will filter people through online. And then after you filter a good amount of people already, then you will meet them. So what's different is you can save time. You can filter people first online, and then only you go out for date after you think this is a good person. Besides that, I think
hybrid lah, basically.
I think for couples, they are more willing to move in together.
Oh,
because right
interesting.
now, because during COVID, actually a lot of them actually have to be separated, right?
Yeah.
If they have stay from different places, so I think they will crave the time that they can spend with each other more often and then together, and they will actually work out staying together, like have planned to move together after this COVID. And I
And
think
is it only COVID during COVID period that this will happen, or do you think this will persist even after things go back to like people are allowed to go out? Do you think people are still similarly open to moving in together sooner than later?
um, because of the change of their life, actually, because like Kevin said, so we have already get used to meeting on Zoom, and then a lot of people are actually they change the way of their life, they change the way they work, they change the way they go out and social. So it maybe some of them already actually resign from their previous job, or their previous company already fire them. So
Some
Yeah.
permanent changes.
some
Yes.
permanent changes.
Yeah.
So some of them also let go of their offices and they move back to stay at their home. So I think it will be permanent, not just after COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, so it's like so for those of you who are listening to this, right? I mean, we tend to think of, and I think this is a brand new conversation that not enough people are talking about. That means when the world actually does go back to sort of normal, it's like I think we sort of assume that all the temporary COVID thing will go away and then it will just go back to in the past. But now we are realizing from my guests here that it may not be, that you see the students actually
Um.
still prefer online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Xin
One
Hong,
thing,
yeah.
because human is lazy. Human is lazy. Human prefer convenience. Like Kevin say, I'm so lazy to travel MRT to go to your place. I'm lazy to travel to meet you. So we move together lah. So everything become very convenient. And because of COVID, I'm so used to order outside. Like I have to order Grab. I'm so lazy to go out actually to
Like
the
a fancy.
shop and then to order, to wait, and then to waste my time waiting there. So it's
Yes.
so convenient, right? I just order and then I do my stuff, I do my work, and then when the food is ready, the driver will send them to me.
Yeah.
So human is lazy actually.
Even
And
payment
is-
also online.
That's the
You don't
thing.
even have to
Is
pay the food delivery man, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah. So in fact, like I said, if everybody, those people who are watching, right, that's why one of the things that I maintained very, very early on in the webinars is that when I talked about how property, that means the idea of having a physical space is going to start to decline very, very quickly. I think a lot of people are very angry with what I was saying earlier, that no, it's just temporary, it will go back. But let's just imagine, luckily for Kevin, he operates from home in his home classroom. But let's just say if you had gone and paid rent, and then you went and renovate your tuition center, even if things go back to normal and kids can come, it's very funny. Like half your students come ask you, Teacher Khoo, can I still continue online? Then your rent money is like,
Yeah.
it's up in smoke, Yeah. Did you
I know.
actually consider setting up your own center?
No, as in I know quite a number of tuition centers personally. They shut down. They just cease operation because they cannot tahan the overheads during circuit breaker. Because during circuit breaker, they actually still have to pay 6,000 a month when the classroom were not being utilized. So after like 3 to 4 months, some of them actually just closed down. Like they cannot tahan anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, it's not just the tuition centers. It's also like people who are in Xin Hong Street. It's also not unusual that they will have a nice office somewhere in the CBD. Again,
Yeah,
it's the
high
same thing.
rental.
It's very high rental, even if it's like one practitioner in a small office. But if you want to count out the rental, it can be a lot, especially if then you cannot see your clients. And the worst thing is now when you do online, everybody see you online, then the office is for what? And
Yeah.
Xin Hong, now people like Xin Hong is too lazy to go to the restaurant to buy the food also. Then in that case, why pay rent, retail rent, which usually is at least 3 to 4 times that of industrial space. So this is why I don't know, for the people who are listening to this, right, the impact just this alone, the impact on economy is huge. Yeah. And
correct.
so it's so actually I thought this question from David was very interesting, and both of you can sort of respond. He asked, is there a different price point for live class and Zoom class? And is it that it's scalable on Zoom and cheaper? So then would it be more affordable? So he's basically asking, do you charge less when it's online? What do you all think?
I did consider that before when we just took it online. So I did consider, and then after I realized that I'm still doing the same, if not more, amount of effort, and I'm still giving the same, if not more, attention to each student. So it's actually still a one-to-one kind of attention because my group size are relatively smaller. So I would say 5 to 6 students maximum in one class. So that's why in that case I agree that it's scalable when it's just information transmission. When it's just like me talking and no feedback, no interaction, right? Yes, I agree it's scalable, but that's not what I do. So and plus I don't think it's effective lah. Okay, so in that case, right, because the interaction is still the same, and it is not scalable because of Zoom in that case.
Yeah.
Because when you want to have like one-to-one conversation with 5 or 6 students ongoingly, you can't do the same when if the class gets bigger. Yeah.
Yep.
I do agree if it's purely like one-way conversation, which is that's not conversation is not already one-way monologue, right? Then I agree lah. Maybe in that case, that kind of education the kind of class would probably be cheaper.
Yeah.
For me,
and that's why YouTube videos are free.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
because-
Can I share something, May? Can I share something of
please, of
free
course.
lesson? Once upon a time, I always have inquiries. On and off. I have inquiries asking, right? Do you have free trial? I said I have trial, but it's paid, so there's no free trial. So they say, hey, but if I don't try out for free, how will I know whether my son likes your teaching or not? And I was like, then you have to take the risk and come for the paid trial. Right. So in the end, there are people who chose either way. They come and like it or not. And there are people who just don't want to pay for the trial. So that's something in the past. But now when people ask, is there a free trial? I will turn them to my YouTube channel and say, watch how I explain math in a maybe lively manner, maybe in a fun manner. And if you like it, then you sign up.
Yeah.
So now they get free trial. It might not be a topic they can just search for the topic they like. You can just watch me talk on YouTube and it's free. And if you like it, you will pay me for the live interaction. Interaction is chargeable. One-way monologue is free.
That actually saves you trouble because now you don't even need to do a paid trial anymore. Basically, you watch the YouTube and if it works, right, then it works lah. There's no need to trial anymore actually because that's the trial, right?
You don't just happen to say, I listened to your YouTube and I don't like it. Then okay, lor. That means self-selection. Yeah, but it also gives me motivation to be more entertaining and clearer in my YouTube videos.
Yep.
So that also is a
Absolutely.
push factor for me to increase improve the quality lah.
Yeah. Then how about you, Xin Hong? I mean, because yours was like online from the very start, right? Do you get people saying, hey, yours is online, you should charge less? Like, do you get that?
Actually, no,
or
because
not really?
not really, because I quite agree with Kevin. He actually mentioned about the value I provide is the same. The value I provide is the same, so I have never decreased my my price point. So I agree with that because we have to charge our price based on the value we provide, not by the location, not by the environment, but the value we provide. Like for example, before COVID, I helped you to get your boyfriend, and after COVID, I also help you to get a boyfriend. So I should charge the same. I should charge the same, or even more because Brendan say convenience premium.
Yeah.
I'm not charging more, but I think we maintain the same price point. We hope to make things status quo so that at the same point there are also people who are like having some income difficulty. So that is why we don't increase the price, but definitely not decreasing as well because all the value are still same as before, except that it's more convenient for everybody.
Yep. So the charge one you can charge, but if you want to provide more value, you can do free videos. Like I always do free videos on YouTube. Every week I'll post one video, and I also have free webinar for them to join, for them to get some insight, and they actually learn something from that. Yeah. So there's a difference between you want to charge, then you have to charge if you want to you don't want to charge, then don't charge.
Yeah, just make it free.
Yeah. No, I think it's that's a very big that's a very big point, because with regard to this question, and David asked a really good question, because not only
Yep.
Kevin and Xin Hong were thinking about it, even I was thinking
Yes.
about what my answer would be, and I
Yes.
realized my answer is very similar to Xin Hong's, because now it's very easy for me to put out a lot of free things. Even the webinar, I mean, seriously, a lot of people have written to me and said that kind of content to give it away for free is quite ridiculous. But I do give it for free. And that's why one of the interesting things is just now, I mean, if you talk about scalability, I agree with both of you. The scalability of Zoom is almost unlimited, but the scalability of the person teaching is not unlimited.
Your attention, your feedback, your answering of questions.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. And in fact, so I'm with Xin Hong, because when especially the irony is that the more you share online, in fact, the more people want the service. And that becomes now we have the opposite problem. Some people call it the happy problem, when you have too many people who want the service, but
Yes.
you are limited by the scalability of what one human can do. So which means that actually the irony is that actually, now that I think about it, once COVID happened, my fee went up significantly. Mainly because it's like, for me, I try to give very high quality free on YouTube really, which means that the person who wants to sign up for more usually wants significantly more than what I'm already giving for free on YouTube. And that is and I found that actually a higher price point helps to filter for better quality. Otherwise, if you take every single person who knock on the door, I suspect even Xin Hong, I can see her nodding away. If you take every single person who comes in through the door, I think Xin Hong will not have a life already. Yeah, I totally see that. I thought that was brilliant stuff. Yeah. So in fact, okay, I have the next two questions are a little bit more personal for both of you, because you see, Kevin is a teacher and he teaches kids, but he's a new father, and he became a father during this crisis COVID period. I remember he even said, he was sharing about how, he had to, it's like even his wife literally gave birth during this pandemic period. Yeah. So in fact, as an adult, as a father, you are seeing the world change, and you also brought two children into this world. So that means as a father, you will also be thinking about how this is going to shift for you. And the funny thing is, Xin Hong is a dating coach, and Xin Hong got married during the pandemic. In fact, she just got married, like just only. So in fact, what we have is two professionals here who are helping other people in things that you are kind of, you're in it yourself. And you also embark on parenthood and marriage at the time where the world is 变了样, totally changed already. So I'd like to get your personal opinions on, like, what do you think? I want to know how you think marriage is going to change, and how do you think education and parenting and relationship with children is going to change in this new world that is different from what we used to have with our parents. So either of you can jump in, really. Who wants to go first? Kevin, I volunteer.
Okay.
You.
I go.
I volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah. Kevin, Daddy.
Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just my personal opinion. I see just an analogy like people in the past, right? They've been through agriculture period, and they did not know what this industrial period about, and they were not able to prepare their kids for a new era, right? So that was what happened in the past. And right now, right, people of our generation, we have been through like what May always say, the Earth era, okay, or rather say something that is like more face-to-face, more physical contact. Okay, whatever that we do, at least most of us, we are more used to it, and we are definitely very new, regardless of how old or how young we are. We are definitely very new to this era where things are going online. We're getting more like not physical. Okay, and similarly, I see that we should not be complacent, or as new parents, I mean, new or older, as parents, we should not be complacent to think that we know what's best for our kids 20, 30 years later. So there are problems. I mean, I know that all parents are more or less, to a certain extent, concerned about our kids' future, maybe education, maybe their job or their businesses. What are they going to do when they grow up? But I think as a new parent, I just want to share that constantly remind ourselves to be a bit more humble, in the sense that we do not know what is best for them, because the world has changed so much, and it will continue to change for the next 20 years. So who knows what the economic climate is going to be. Some occupations that we think are like really good, and therefore you should study this. You should excel in a certain subject, because so that you can become a certain profession, so that 20 plus years later you can get a good job. It might not be true anymore. I will say that even professional astrologers may not be able to predict how the economy, how the occupations and job market is going to be like 20 plus years later. So it could be anything. So in that case, right, what I would really like my kids to pursue, instead of the traditional education, like the subjects, academics, is really like what they like, pursue their talents, their interests, and also relevant life skills. And that's also something I always do in my class, in my tuition classes. I do not just teach them math. I always ensure that relevant life skills that they can apply to daily lives are still very important. Things like communication, things like critical thinking, problem solving, things that may not be tested in exams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like I can feel I'm actually sort of like taking down the mental notes here, because this is for those of you who are listening and you are actually thinking about going into like some form of teaching or coaching. I think what he's just shared is very important. That means we tend to think of like, when you learn something, you just want to learn, so what are the bullet points or what is the syllabus that I'm going to learn? When actually it's not the syllabus that is going to change our ability moving forward.
True.
Yeah. And so how about our new Mrs. Ng? Like what how do you see marriage changing? After all, you're in the love, dating and marriage kind of industry. And you yourself just got married. What do you think is going to change?
I think a lot of things to learn for couples who want to get married. During COVID, we all know that during COVID, a lot of people are getting divorced. During COVID.
That's true.
So actually, I don't think the problem is COVID. The true problem is not just about COVID. The true problem is there's actually an issue that has been hidden or that has been happening in their relationship, but because of COVID, and they realize that we are not going to work out about this solution, these things. So
anymore.
Yeah.
Face the problem. They cannot
face
sweep things under carpet already.
Can't even go to the office. Cannot go office and hide there, right?
Cannot go out clubbing and then drink until late night. Cannot avoid conversation, the true conversation. So end up they separate with each other. So I think for marriage after COVID, there's a lot of things to learn, especially to cooperate. For husband and wife to cooperate. Why so? Because we are going to spend a lot of time together in the house. We are going to spend a lot of time. We are going to stay together, and it's good that we realize that we want to choose the right one before we even get into the marriage. Because if you are not choosing the right one, then you will end up divorcing. Yeah. So because of COVID, I think more and more people realize that actually dating is not just happy. You have to face the reality of us facing the challenges, the issue, and everything that is keep changing. So I love one saying is that we have to build our foundation on rock, not sand. Build our foundation on rock, not sand. So it's good that if someone has just got together during COVID, they have together overcome these challenges, and they will become very strong. Their relationship will be very strong because they built their foundation on the rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm listening to my two guests for those of you listening, and I think I've sort of learned something that's quite wise from their sharing, which is that how we think about this digital era. A lot of people complain that this digital era is very superficial. They say that everything is swipe blah, see like 1 second. But actually, what from their sharing, I realized that people actually start to realize what I call consequences. So that means, things that last time we just anyhow do, and you do without thinking. And then now we start to really see the potential negative and positive consequences. Like what Xin Hong is saying, when people just anyhow paktor and then just get together, then which she says that's when, with a little bit of crisis, only the marriage breaks down. And you know who suffers? And let me tell you, I can tell you, Kevin knows this really, really well. Sometimes the kids suffer. Right? Isn't it true? Like it is the kids who really get to the brunt of like when the parents don't get along. And then there's the other way around also, right? Which is that when people don't get their education right, then they end up totally picking up some of these very funny decision-making criteria later on in life, affects their career, affects all their relationships. It's pretty, and I think it's interesting that it took an illness that locked us all of us up at home, right? For us to really see that every small thing that we do in life that last time you never really go and think about it, but now it becomes so stuck. And all the more, and it's maybe like what Xin Hong said, when people are stuck at home, they got nothing to do. So they got time to think and really realize, wow, something not right. Yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, it's let's see. Yeah. So I guess one thing is very good today. We have a lot of comments. I see that even Xin Hong's going to get like potentially some interested parties here already.
Please check out the link. Ellen just posted. Feel free.
So now what I want to do is really just as we are wrapping up, I mean, seriously, I can see that Ellen has already shared Xin Hong's link. So please, for the singles who are listening to this, or even if you yourself not single, some people who are struggling, and especially dating in the online era, please really check out Xin Hong's link. And in fact, my assistant Jeremy is also on this session right now. And Jeremy, if you will post Xin Hong's link also, so that means it's a page that you can go to find out more information. So Xin Hong, can you give us a brief, who are the kinds of people who really should look into this?
Okay, so if you are singles and you are between 24 to 40 and you are struggling to get your dream relationship, maybe you have never had any relationship experience before, or maybe you have bad experience before, or maybe you have a personal issue with yourself and you want to really grow yourself to become a better person and to attract the guy you want, to get a dream relationship, then you can check out the link.
Yep. So if you can look into the comments, you'll see a link there. And of course, also for my other guests, Kevin, it's like you actually do see that I'm sure there are a lot of fantastic teachers out there, but what I do know for a fact is that Kevin is not entirely only focused on the academics and the syllabus, because even for maths, I think when he talks about this critical thinking, you can actually see that he is looking way beyond that, because the skills, seriously, how many people actually grow up to become like mathematicians? But it's usually maths that's being used in a practical manner. And as
it's not
Kevin,
math, but some attributes such as being careful in your workings, and you need carefulness wherever you do, right? Especially when you're driving. And things like being meticulous, things like having like a clear presentation, all these things are not really just a single subject, but it's a life skill.
Yes, absolutely. So that's why, seriously, if your parents or like people, if you know people who are really struggling to learn online, let me tell you, Kevin is a very, very entertaining teacher. Not just to entertain them, but I think it's important to keep the kids engaged also. So Kevin, can you share briefly, like what are the type of students that you're looking for, and how can they get in touch with you?
My students, the levels are a bit narrow. They come from Sec 3, Sec 4 to JCs. So it's basically just these four years of levels. And of course, the subject is math. Then, and they used to be all Singaporeans, but now they are no longer confined to Singapore geographical. So just like Xin Hong, I am having like students coming from various countries also, and across continents. But that only started last year because of the pandemic. So in the past, I've only taught overseas once because I have to fly all the way to Shanghai. But since last year, I'm getting students from many countries, and it's actually getting a little bit more rewarding.
Yeah, fantastic. So it's like I'm going to get Jeremy to sort of post your YouTube link. This is a Teacher Khoo YouTube link. Yeah, so those of you, just go check him out, and I think you can tell how entertaining he is from his videos. Yeah, so just to remind all our viewers that actually these huddles are a series of conversations with industry people that is leading up to the big event which is coming up this Saturday, and it's called Halftime Strategies for 2021 and Beyond. And why I've named it Halftime is because I think I've maintained right all the way from 2019, from the people who have been following my webinars, that this story that we are all in is not a 1 year, 2 year story. That is quite obvious to everybody that even if COVID ends, somehow the world has not finished its little transformation yet. So it's really important, and even in the huddles, you can see I'm not the only one saying that the world really needs to undergo some very, very big adaptations. So in fact, both Kevin and Xin Hong, it would be right to say that you've watched more than one of my webinars, right? And are you able to say like how did knowing, some people think my webinars are just prediction and they just want to know what is coming up. But for yourself as a business owner or as somebody in your own life, how has these webinars changed things for you and help you to plan or make decisions? Xin Hong, what was your experience?
So I think through the webinar, I get to prepare before everyone. Because of your webinar last year in January, actually like already expect that COVID is a long-term thing. It's like it will last for a few years. So I'm more adaptable when things really happen. And as compared to my other peers, other industry people, other business people in Malaysia, they are still complaining online. They're still complaining why they cannot open their shop, why they cannot sell this, why they cannot do that. And I was like, I already prepared for everything that's going to happen. And because I can put my focus on bringing my business to online, and I can put all the focus on making my business run better instead of just complaining.
Yeah, brilliant. So that's for her, right? Preparation. And Kevin, what was your experience? In fact, Kevin very special. No, his is not just the webinars, because Kevin was my student from years ago, and I actually warned all my students even before I did the webinars. You were there, right, in the student town hall?
So I was fortunate to start learning astrology from you since like late 2018, and you started sharing this Earth to Air transition since May 2019. So that's kind of 2 years ago. Yeah. Of course, I didn't understand what you were saying. But then so you're right. You talk about the prediction thing, right? And I thought, yeah, there are two ways to look at it. One is prediction and see whether it will come true. And if it comes true, then wow, that's so interesting. That's one way of looking at things. The other way is what can I do preparing for a change? Yeah, so definitely we did several things. The first thing, we avoided a danger. Because at that point of time, me and my wife, we were actually considering to get a commercial space that is actually pretty expensive. I mean, would be kind of costly to us. So we
almost.
We were so close to it. We were so close to it. We got investors in, and then we got a location. We were negotiating for rental, and we're like, hey, can we have a little bit cheaper? And then they said no. Then we were like, ugh, still arguing a bit. And then we decided to say, why not like that? Let's not rush into it. And let's take one step at a time. So eventually we did not, and we did not lose a lot of rental and renovation, just like a lot of our colleagues and ex-colleagues did lah. So I was very fortunate to avoid that big damage. And also, of course, building up a YouTube channel after hearing the Earth to Air transition. And of course, it was quite new lah. So I had to self-learn a lot of things like video editing, and it was a huge challenge. But the thing I thought is like, if I'm going to require some online presence sooner or later, why not start in 2019? Because since you already won us over it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you both of you. Yeah, and it's a sincere thanks to both of you for sharing that, because sometimes, if you're watching this for the very first time, you'll be wondering what's this webinar about. And in fact, a lot of business owners have said that this has been transformative for them. It's given them the confidence to go into a new direction, because sometimes I think people are looking at the world and they're not sure whether is it A or B. But I think sometimes having that very clear and convicted kind of prediction also means that you make a decision, because it's like what Kevin said, you don't want to wait until the crisis come up and then you start your YouTube channel a bit late already, because it takes months, even years to build up to anything that is worthwhile. So please do come, especially if you're a business owner and you are really thinking about making some serious change to your businesses. And I think also if you are a freelancer, let me tell you a little bit more about the type of opportunities that are opening up even more for you. And I think if you are neither of the above, but if you are really honestly considering going into starting your own business, I think that you're going to find this very, very important. And for the people who have seen my previous webinars, you pretty much know what I have been saying for a long time now. But what I like to promise the people who have seen the webinars before is that you will see something a bit different in this upcoming one, because I'm not just talking about 2020 and 2021. In fact, as you can all see, 2021 is not like the most eventful. It was much more less eventful than 2020, and I didn't tell you that 2021 was going to be more eventful. In fact, I said we're going to get a bit of a break, but I also hinted in previous webinars that the big one is also coming in 2022. So that means for the people who were pre-warned about 2020, you want to come, because I would like to give you a pre-warning about 2022, right? So if you're watching this, please don't just own self sign up. Please help me to share and get as many people as possible to show up. These webinars are for free. And so far, the people I know who have come back and watched the replay months later, write email to me and say, I wish I watched your webinar earlier. So if it's free now and it's free later, you must have watched free now, So please help me to share this. And thank you. And there was Kevin want to say something?
Yeah, and I would just like to stress that the webinar, as in what May is going to say or has said, is not just asking you to go online. It's not just asking business owners to shift their business from physical to online. It's way more than that. Of course, that's just one of the things that we can observe, but I would say understanding the structural change of economics and also things like mindset of individuals. I mean, you can do all the right things, but if your mindset is not set up for, or it's not prepared or not versatile or not strong enough, right? You cannot take the hardship or the volatility also. So the mindset that is that she will help us to prepare in advance is definitely not just shifting my thing onto the internet. That's all.
Yes, because I think shifting onto internet, you tell me who don't know. Every business owner
to listen to webinar.
Yeah, but in fact, you see, you don't have to come and exactly. You don't have to come 4 hours just to listen to me talk, just to know this. But I think what we are addressing here is the fear, the uncertainty, and when somebody is going to do something that they have not done before, there's always the doubt. And I think also there's that. And another thing that people are questioning is, how do I stand out in this internet space? Now everybody is going online, everybody doing YouTube video. So then some people get even more stressed, because at least in the past, it's like what Kevin said, if you are in the geographical area, at least you have a bit of an advantage, Now you don't even have a geographical advantage. So how are you going to stand out? You are not even competing in just Malaysia or Singapore, you're competing with the world. Right, so this is why I think all the more, I think everyone needs to come and pay attention to what's happening in the world. And for the people who watched the previous webinars, I usually focus on Singapore. This time around, I'm going to be looking at what is happening in a few other countries, right? So for those of you who are logging from Malaysia, because I know maybe some of Xin Hong's crowds are here, or maybe you may be from some of the other countries, it will still be relevant to you, because I will be looking at what's happening in the world. Now we have to pay attention not just to our own country, we have to pay attention to outside as well. Okay, so I'd like to thank Kevin and Xin Hong. This was a brilliant conversation. We went so much deeper than just talking about maths and dating, right? So thank you for that. And this was a very good audience, right? There's so many good comments, and thank you for the excellent questions. And to Carol, I think your name. Yes, it is a Capricorn sign, but it's been fashioned into my logo called May Sim. Because I'm a very Capricorn person.
By the way, Karen, that New York friend who got a boyfriend.
Sorry?
Fantastic. It's her that is the example you were saying just now, the woman who found a boyfriend from online. Yeah, no problem. So thank you everybody to our audience, and remember to sign up for the webinar, and guys, we'll see you on Saturday. Okay, see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.